Hello. How are we? Well, I know you're here, Dave. I'm just going to carry on, and I'm sure people will join. For those of you who are watching this at a later date, good evening. Welcome to the live stream. As you can see, we've got a little bit of abundance behind us, which we'll talk about later. But for now, we're going to just do that, and I'm going to start. So, good news is I'm all better. I actually enjoyed some real food at the weekend, which was amazing. So what have you been watching this week? Well, this week, 1,509 views, 4 new subscribers. So the third most popular video last week was Kate Bush's studio albums at 53 views. Second most popular was last week's live stream, the one where I was really groggy. My throat gave up. Yes. So that was 98. Now, I was talking to Dave about this week. The most popular video last week was a 3-second thing called It's the Weekend, which I did in August. 102 people. I was going to take it down, but I'm not now. It's quite popular. Yes, well, I was shocked this week. 102 people watch a video going, hi, it's the weekend, have a nice time. 28 days, not much movement there. 6,990 views, that's gone up. Picked up 28 new subscribers. And it's amazing. Coming at number 3, the most in the last month has been It's the Weekend. 227 people have watched it, which has been amazing. Second most popular, hello, Alan. The second popular video in the last 28 days is the review of album of Marillion's An Hour Before Dark, 314, but still at number 1 is the news on the new Def Leppard album at 440. How many have we got since we started on the 14th of May of last year? Birthday's coming up soon. We're now up to 73,249. And today we hit another landmark on RTO. We got our 400th subscriber. So thank you very much. Still got a long way to go. But 400 subscribers is an absolute fantastic figure. Not much has changed in the top 3. Jethro Tull, Susanna's Sleeping reaction still at 3,294. The Jethro Tull album stands at 3,344. And Status Quo still at the top with 5,202 views. I know, 73,000 views. Me waffling on about albums. Anyway, before we start, a sip of the back on the beer. Now, this is called Funky Fluid. Done. Good evening, Mick. I was talking about my Funky Fluid from this is actually from New England, and it's one of these oat beers. It's quite cloudy as well. It's not gone off. It's quite a cloudy beer, and it's very nice. Right, what we got for you next week? Right, next Monday, looking at some albums, solo albums. Thank you, Mick. I know it's great. David Coverdale. We've got 3 solo albums to look out, and I've got an honourable mention. I had to put it in somewhere. It didn't fit with Whitesnake. It didn't fit with his solo stuff, so I'm going to do an honourable mention for it. Next week's classic album review. Now, this was something we discussed on live stream a couple of weeks about doing soundtracks. So I'm going to do one I'm going to start off with doing Tommy by The Who, which is a fabulous album. So we're going to be doing that. Tuesday, we have got part 5 of Paul McCartney's story. And this is a band he formed with someone called Youth, who was actually someone that was in then Jericho and other bands, and they're called the Firemen. But we haven't, there's 3 albums there, but we're also going to be looking at some classical albums that Killing Joke, that's it, thank you. I know it was something like that. I might do Killing Joke at some stage as well. Anyway, going back to that, we're going to look at Paul McCartney got involved with some classical albums. I'm not going to rank them. I'm just going to talk about them because you can't really rank classical music. It's very hard. Retro ranking next week is another special. We've got lots of specials at the moment. As this week, we've done the album ranking of Rolling Stones, and I did the UK issues. Well, there's so many great songs missing. So I went through the singles, and we're going to be looking at 19 singles released that weren't on albums. Wednesday, Marathon Day. This is another viewer request. We're going to do a bit of thrash speed metal on Wednesday, bit of Megadeath. A band that I've only got a few bits, but I've really enjoyed listening to them, which is coming up with a new, give me an idea for a new show. Thursday is Then and Now, and we're going to look at one of my favourite bands, Pink Floyd. I've been dying to do something on Pink Floyd, so I'm going to do Pink Floyd. Now, artwork ranking. This is the Easter special. It's the one that Dave's been looking forward to, and we've had a lot of fun doing it. It's the Stinker albums coming back for a 3rd episode. This time we got some Easter and more. We have found some really grotty ones this time. We had a lot of fun the other week doing this. I haven't even put them in order yet. I'm struggling here. I might be calling on Dave on She Who Must Be Not Mentioned, which I must remember to switch off, or if someone calls me, we're not going to be able to talk. That's it. Let's cut that off. So we're going to look at that. We'll be here for an Easter special live stream. Good Friday. I'm still doing something. I'm not got anything planned, so we'll be doing live album ranking, and we'll be doing I've called it the ELO Family. Anything to do with ELO members' live albums. So we've got ELO, Jeff Lynne's ELO, ELO Part 2 and the orchestra. And then we've got a new album review next week, an album that I've been listening to this week. It's the new one from Red Hot Chili Peppers, Unlimited Love. No, you're going to have to help me on that one, Dave. I don't know which one. What I'll do, I'll email you all the covers, and then you can have a look and see if we can work something out. So that's what's going on next week. The good news is no one's put any sarky comments in the videos this week. It's all been good stuff. So what do we talk about next? I think it's the poll. Now, we've been checking out, and we had the story. There's story of it's either going to be Eric Clapton or Sammy Hagar. And the winner is, and I've just knocked the camera down. Slow Hand. Let's put the camera back. That was stupid of me. Yes, Slow Hand is the winner. So we'll be doing that. I've just done something really stupid here. So I can't see anything. Ah, there we are. Is everyone still here? I am. That's a bit too high. Right. So after we finished down a bit, is that better? Can you see me all right? That's the main thing. Yeah, the poll was 5 to Mr. Eric Clapton, 3 to Mr. Hagar. Now, the funny thing is, on the Facebook page, people are putting all these damn likes, but they didn't vote. Crazy. So we're going to do Eric Clapton. I will do Sammy Hagar at some stage. Right. I think that's all the rubbish over with. We can now expand that. That's it. Right. As from May, we're going to have a new show. We're going to drop the then and now for a little while. He knows everything, you know. I put something here earlier, and the silly sod sniffed it out. He's a little bugger. There we go. Let's keep him quiet. Yeah, so where was he? This new show. We're going to do a new show, and it's going to be called The Battle of the Debutantes. So this is where you guys are going to come in as well. Each week, I'm going to pick 2 debut albums of 2 bands very similar to each other. I'm going to pull them apart, have my, like I do with the then and now, and do the points value thing. But what then I want you guys to do is during the week, watch it, listen to the albums if you've got them, and in the comments below in that show, put which one you prefer. And then on the next Thursday, when we're doing the live stream, I will say what the subscribers of the channel think is the better album out of the 2 debut albums. Rocky wants camera time. At the Funhouse, yeah, it is, with Ian and Rocky. Hey, come here then. Come here. Let's put you on. I think you're in demand tonight. There he is. In the co-captain's chair, the super dash hound, who's still sniffing for stuff. Yeah. Oh, Charles, I'm not going to sing Start Me Up tonight. Don't worry. Yes, it's right. He knows where the treats are. Yeah, so this new show, you're going to all help. We're going to all take part in it. So I'll give you an example of 2 debut albums that I'm not using. Say we're going to have the Beach Boys album against the Kinks. I'll rank them as I normally do. Right, this is the last one. Go and find it. There it is. Pain in the bum sometimes, but I love him to bits. Yeah, I'm getting distracted by my dog. So we're going to, as I said, we got the Kinks out first album and the Beach Boys album. I'll do my thing. We'll have my winner. And then in the week, you listen to them and just put in the comments below either say Beach Boys or the Kinks. And then on the live stream the week after, I'll tell you, okay, this is what I thought, but this is what you guys think. Just a little bit, something a bit different. And that might go into another show. I was talking with Dave yesterday about when someone leaves a band, they go off and do a solo career and they both put out an album at the same time. See which is the better out of the 2. So we're going to do that. As you can see behind me, there's no covers this week. Well, there are. They're hiding behind them. But I don't know how many of you know that I've actually got a merchandise page through Redbubble. The link is in the description box with all what's going on next week. But we got T-shirts, hoodies, with that design on it. One with that's the original one. And then there's the one of the header. And also with the new designs on the thumbnails, the little red logo of me. There's T-shirts with that on. So if you want to treat yourself and get a nice T-shirt for the summer, go and get one of mine. So that's why they're up there. They're a good T-shirts, and you get mugs as well and all sorts of little goodies. So I'm going to give you an update on what people have asked for and how far I've got listening. So, with someone asked for Kansas, I've now listened to 16 of their albums. Blue Oyster Cult, I've listened to 12 of the 15, so we're getting with that one. The Cure. Yeah, Dave's got one. I sent him it as a present. Yeah, where was I yet? So The Cure, I've listened to 7 of the 13, so that one's well on the way. Depeche Mode, I've done 10 of the 14. Yeah, go and buy it. Yeah. Blue Oyster. I've seen Blue Oyster Cult. They're really good. Yeah, Eric Clapton. I've listened to 11 of his solo albums. I've listened to everything else. The Waterboys, I've listened to only 3 of the 17. Budgie, 4 of the 11. Tears for Fears, I've listened to 2. What else have I got? I can't even understand my work. Oh, my own writing. It's terrible. I've got terrible scribble. Pat Benatar. Yeah, I've listened to 2 of hers. I've listened to 2 of the 6 of the Jam albums. But what has finished this week is Sweet, Cocteau Twins, Cream, T-Rex, and Tremonti. So I'm going to start listening to some Chrome because someone asked for that last week. Listening to some Saxon Live as well. I've listened to This Is the Sea Today, Charles. What a great album. I've only heard a couple of tracks off that, and I think it's a brilliant album. Well, that's all I'm going to say. So I do listen to your stuff. There's lots going on. So you need to go and buy some T-shirts. Right, let's just catch up on what people have been saying. Nothing exciting. So there's 6 people in. Oh, Martin Popoff likes that. I know he likes the Waterboys. Yeah, I've sort of obviously I've heard of the Waterboys. I'm of that sort of age, but I hadn't listened to a lot of their stuff. So this has been a real eye opener. I've only listened to 3, and every album I've listened to, with my scoring, how I rank them, it's been difficult. I'm sure I'm going to come across some of them bad production ones, as everyone loves. I know I love to hate. I did notice, I think it was Mick that said about why I put Satanic Majesties at the bottom. Freaked me out. Someone actually said they loved Hot Space. Another person liked Hot Space by Queen. So that's 3 people that like it. Yeah, I thought we was going to get it in the light tonight, but it started getting dark at the wrong time. So anyway, the birthday bash we're having, not my birthday, the channel's thing. It's going to be a Q&A. We're going to have a bit of a Q&A. So if there's anything you really want to ask me, but keep it clean. 36 degrees. Cool, that's hot. This is supposed to be like beginning of April here. And this week the weather's been atrocious. Cold. Been cold. I mean, I've had to put a jumper on today. I'm not used to putting jumpers on because this flat's quite warm as it is. So what else have we got? I've got in the pipeline. This page about arts. Charles, bands in the future. Whoa. What have we got? Soon tell you. I've got a list here. These are what's coming up probably in the next couple of months. I'll go through what's coming up. I'm sure we'll find. So if I've got it, this is the Guru book. Got some. We're going to have lots of new bands and old bands. We'll just go through what we haven't done and I've got ready to go. We've got Blue Murder, Creeper, Trapeze. Got them to do. Looking forward to that one. Tool, Elf, Hard Rain, which is the band that between Magnum breaking up and getting back together. Greta Van Fleet, one of the modern bands I like. A band called Sky. I know Dave likes Sky and I like Sky. Mystery. They're a progressive band from Canada, I believe, and it got what was his name that sang with Yes for a little while. They're pretty good. Turn over the page. The Rich and Famous. Now that is a spin-off from Kings of the Sun, an Australian band. Stone Fury, which someone asked for. They were the band before Kingdom Come. And then got Arena, which is the progressive band that Mick Pointer from Marillion formed. Van Halen is coming up at some stage, of course, when we do Sammy Hagar. British progressive metal band Threshold. David Lee Roth, Transatlantic, Mike and the Mechanics, Striper. Led Zeppelin's going to be coming up at some stage, along with Jimmy Page, Robert Plant's solo stuff. Grand Funk Railroad. I got it all wrong, but there you go. That's what's coming up. My all-time favourite bands. Well, I've done Quo, I've done Queen, done Yes, done Purple, but I haven't done Rainbow yet. I have not done a full ranking of Pink Floyd. I haven't done Sky yet. Another person I haven't done yet is Enya. She's one of my favourite female artists, but she is coming up because she'll come up in, we like to do that Ladies' Day thing. So Enya will be up there. I've still got a few live album rankings of bands that I do love that we've already done. I love like live albums. I mean, I'm listening to the Saxon live. No doubt there'll be a UFO. I'm still debating about doing U2 because I've only got half of their albums because I think the later ones are not particularly Enya. No, I'm gonna, when it comes to Enya, I'm going to just do her official studio releases because I'll be there all day doing that. So yeah, I have gone through a few of my bands. There's some really weird and odd stuff I've got that I haven't done yet. The odd album. There's a band that I used to see that used to play in a pub near me called Cougar. I'm going to do Stray because I used to know Del Shannon because he used to be in a band called Killer Bees, and we used to go and see them quite a lot, and I got to know him quite well. I'll do like Stray. Groundhogs is another band I like. I shall be doing them. Budgie, which I'm listening to at the moment. I've got 4 or 5. I've got three iPods full of my favourite stuff. Plus, there's all the stuff that I've got on Spotify now. My music is just going bizarre. Oh, 2 cellos, yeah. Is that a request? Do you think Dave's allowed to ask for requests? There's a couple of as you know, I used to go to this Christian rock festival thing because we got free tickets. Am I struggling with Depeche Mode? No, I'm not actually. I'm quite surprised. I'll tell you which album I was listening to the other day, and I thought it was really good. Ultra. That is a brilliant album. Yeah, I mean, listening to Depeche Mode, it's been a real eye opener for me because I only really know their hits. But listening to their album stuff, it's like most bands. If you've not just heard the hits, and then you get the listen to their album stuff, the stuff that no one really hears is probably the best stuff. Was it like when I did Talk the other week? Them last 3 albums, I'm hooked on now. Yeah, I'm going to be doing Black Celebration. Yeah, that's all I'll say is, Charles, that is it. That is at the moment in the top 10, and I've only got 4 to listen to. Yeah, it's a very good album. Very, very good album. Can't believe I'm a headbanger and I'm listening to Depeche Mode, but it's been really good. I've really enjoyed listening to them, and I will probably listen to them a little bit more now. I'm going to dive into some of these 80s bands now, because listening to like them, I'm going to listen to a little bit more of their stuff. No, it's not your fault. This is what this channel's about, Charles. We introduce each other to different sorts of music. And, yeah, I mean, I remember Depeche Mode coming out. I love New Life. I've always liked that tune. And I like Personal Jesus as well. But I'll do a bit of the retro ranking on some of the 80s bands as well. I'm going to do, and people are going to go, why? Duran Duran, because I like some of their songs, believe it or not. I'm going to look at Landscape. I don't know. Einstein a Go-Go, I love that. One of my favourite songs from the 80s, that is. And I like some of Visage's stuff. Yeah, I have sort of looked at that one, Charles, Van Morrison. Yeah, that is huge. Bit like Rick Wakeman, but Rick Wakeman is coming, it will be done, but I want to get through some of these other ones first before I start listening to Rick Wakeman, because that is one of the reasons I've sort of swapped then and now round for this battle of the debutantes, because as I said to Dave the other day, I seem to, all the music I'm listening to is what I'm doing for this, not listening to much of my stuff. But there's one band that I will be doing, and I was listening to some today. I would put something on Spotify. I was listening to one of the albums on Spotify, and I play it through my flat. I've got it on me Her That Can't Talk About. And the album had finished. And you know, on Spotify, it just plays songs that you were similar what you were listening to. I was listening to some Budgie, and one of the tracks that come on was a Electric Lady by Geordie, which is the band that Brian Johnson was in. And I thought, wow, that is a good band to do. Does anyone remember Geordie? And so I thought, right, I've added it to my little list, to Geordie. Someone last week suggested Chrome. I've had a look at the discography, and yeah, I shall be listening to some Chrome. I've never heard anything by Chrome, I must admit. Has anyone else heard any Chrome stuff? Because I just haven't heard any of it. Plenty of it out there, but I just haven't heard it. Might do some Stranglers. I've seen the Stranglers. I've got the Talking Heads lined up. I've got another book that's just got that I just keep putting bands' names in. If I come up with something, I put it in there because I forget. So yeah, I'm going to do Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark as well. So I like them. I've done a retro on them, but I'm going to do a full album ranking. When I was doing the suite, of course, there are songs that are not on their albums. So we're going to get a retro of Suite as well. I'm going to do a couple of bands that my friend Neil has asked for that we used to go to Greenbelt. There's a band called Bloodgood. They're a speed metal band. We've seen them and I've met them. Great blokes. Obscured the Bus Boys. Food for... God, you come up with some great ones, Mick. I'm going to write that down. God. And 4, 2, 4 feet. Right. Yeah, so we're going to do One Bad Pig. They're a punk band. PJ Harvey. I've heard the name, but I've not heard her stuff. Yeah, Pat Benatar's going to be on Ladies' Day. My mate Gaz, he texts me, says, "Come on, Pat Benatar full albums." Got some of the classic albums that got coming up. I'm doing I've got one of Stills, Nash and Cosby. What's it? Bob Dylan's Blood on the Track is one of the only albums I like by him. Of course, I keep listening out for new albums coming out. Boingo boing. You're as mastermind as Dave, you are, Mick. Wow. I bet that. Are you looking up these bands, Dave? The Bus Boys and Food for Feet. Yes, I heard he actually admitted they were good. I had a slight chuckle to myself. I'm sure that he watched my Thunder video, because all of a sudden he started really talking about Thunder and getting into them, unless it was Steve Reed that got him into them. I'm going to do Thunder live, but I'm not doing them all because, again, it's a band that seemed to release more albums live than studio. Does he? There's some bands that I must admit that some of the bands that he ranks albums on, I've never heard of. These really obscure bands, and I must admit, once I've watched the ranking show, I go on and nice studio albums. Well, that's pretty good. There is one lady we're going to be doing. I must remove one of the. Let's remove the merchandise. Right. Put that somewhere safe. Is this lady here? She's a Canadian called Lee Aaron. What else have I got up here this week? Bit of Quo Caroline live at the NEC. Le Mans 12-inch of Norja box. Now this one, Let's move that up a bit. One of the funniest, that one there, the spitting image, the chicken song. If you haven't heard it, go and listen to it. Obviously, bit of Kaylee, and behind me, Infatuation, Mr. Rod Stewart. Yeah, I think I featured Spitting Image song on my comedy thing, which if you haven't watched, it's up there. Anyway, Charles, did you actually watch the Clash video I did after I sent you the link? I'm going to be doing I'm going to do the Damned. That's another studio ranking we're doing, and the Cult. Yeah, Mastermind Dave. One of these days, when he does get over here, he'll be sitting in the co-captain's chair over there. I don't think we'll get him on, but we'll be able to hear him. Depends how many Star of Problems he's had. Yeah, I have Blackfoot's going to come up as well. Voice only and sounds of tapping keyboards. Oh, I'm lost. It's all right. This Rocky was sniffing around the back of the chair. I'm going to do a retro ranking on them one-hit wonders. Ah, right, okay. Yeah, we're sitting like there's a quiz show over here called can't even think of what it's called now. Dave, what's the one with what's his name? Pointless, that's it. Richard sits there with his computer getting all the questions and all the rubbish. That's you, isn't it? Sitting there going, I'll have to make space for that. There's not much space in here, not like in the old place. The Chase. No, that's old Bradley. What's it, innit? Yes, I'm going to do these one-hit wonders. You know, the songs that we had a hit and then we clear off and don't do anything else. Might do so. I know that there's some really stuff that people have done that you don't know about. That'll be an interesting one. Nothing's on Wikipedia. I've got a gripe with Wikipedia at the moment. When I was putting together the Rolling Stones, I used various things to get the track listings, etc. Now I went on Wikipedia for something, and I wanted to, because it's got the timeline of all the who was in the band, and I was going through it, and it said there was, I think it's something that was on one of the early albums, and it said on there. I mean, if you've watched the video, you've heard me saying, but it really got my goat. It said this first appeared on the Rolling Stones Now, and when we was talking about this song was on this album before they released the Rolling Stones Now in America. I mean, if you go through all the albums, the American listings are at the top, before in the bottom, the UK versions of the albums are put at the bottom. It's an afterthought. As I said, hello, Wikipedia. The Rolling Stones are English, British. They should go at the top. The Americans' version should be at the bottom. But there you go. No offense to you, Mick. But I don't know why they do that. Why did they just not release the albums as they are? Because, but then again, when you look at it, you put a lot of the singles that weren't on English albums. It's all crazy. The Beatles did it, the Who did it, but then they all saw sense, didn't they, and just released the albums. You see, I haven't got any of the Beatles albums. Yeah, it is a bit confusing, Mick, because there's been more American releases than UK releases. As I said on the thing, if you want to look at the American ones, Pete Pardo from Sea of Tranquility does a really good ranking of the American albums. But as I'm a Brit, I did the Brits. And I must admit, I'm not interested in getting the... Yeah, I've noticed that. I don't know. I can't remember the album cover I've got for a self-titled. It's very similar to that one, but it's in a brown background. Yeah. So anyway, Mick, if you want to hear the singles that were on your American albums of the Rolling Stones, it's on Retro Ranking next week. I've done there's 19 songs that didn't appear on albums. I think there's a couple that may have done on one of the live albums, Flashpoint. There's a couple of studio songs on that. So I'll be going through them. I'm really dry tonight. Oh, that's better. So as I said, next week I'll be doing shows on Good Friday and Bank Holiday Monday. Yeah. Having Easter Day with my mate Lee. We'll probably end up having a bit of chicken. I'm playing a board game, and we're going to play Monopoly. How sad's that? Yeah, I totally agree with you. There was that period in some of the Rolling Stones where you'd get half an album. You know, the rest of it's what is this? And I hate Keith Richards singing. Am I the only person that hates his songs? I think he sounds pissed as a rat half the time, but then again, he is, isn't he? Didn't know Goat's Head Soup was so highly thought of. Yeah, it is a great album. See, I do actually prefer a lot of the Stone stuff that's not singles. The only one that it's like Exile on Main Street is probably one of the best double albums that you'll ever get. There's not many good double albums that every track is brilliant. I can think of 4 off the top of my head that I like every song on. That's Physical Graffiti, Tommy, Out of the Blue, Exile on Main Street. I think there might be a few more on The Wall, but then again, I bet there's a couple of tracks on The Wall that I'm not particularly keen on. It's like the words of the show we did today, Then and Now, Queensryche. I think there's some of their songs. Yeah, I like all the songs on Some Girls. I think I do. Anyway, I can't remember. When you go, I think by the time I was spieling off what I was saying, I forget. It's like we was talking to Dave earlier about Jethro Tull. I had to play where I put them because I can't remember. Without going through all the scripts, which I do keep, put them on I think they're all the scripts that I've used are on that. for future reference. It's full of them at the moment, even for my very, very first shows. I mean, we've done, Dave, how many videos we're up to now? I can't remember. I know it's must be approaching 500. He'll come up with the answer in a minute. He usually does. That what you can hear, Rocky, that's the Dad, I want some fuss. Come here then. Right. Such a fuss pot. There's nothing up here for you. He is so funny at sometimes, especially on Sundays. If you're cooking some meat, he'll sit literally by the oven and watch it. He's so funny. And yeah, it's quite funny. During the week when I'm recording the shows, he sits quietly in the corner. All you can do sometimes is hear him snoring. But on Thursdays, I don't think he can get used to me just sitting here talking to the screen. Can you? And he knows that at this time of night, it's usually Dad time. And as long as he gets his fuss, he's all right. So he's quieting down now. All I'm doing is stroking him. Yeah, I mean, you're saying about that, Dave. It's like that. Some. It's funny. There's some people that I watch that were very, very similar. Some of the bands that like Pete Pardo and Barry from Classic Album were very. There's not much between them. The top 10, if there's a big one, and normally there or thereabouts. You know, the same 10, but probably in a different order. Oh, we're up to 464. I knew there was near enough 500. But then again, I was quoting another person, we're on every damn day. But I can't use that one because that's someone else's. RTO, morning, noon and night. Another idea I've come up with is actually to start a web page, having a website where I can put stuff, you can put stuff, but I must have a word with my guru man on how we sort that out. That's you, Dave. I just think it'd be nice that I could actually write some reviews as well, so you don't just get the odd word and fab and guitar riffs and driving bass lines all the time. I'll be able to do, especially with the new albums coming out, do a proper review and post it. I don't want to put it on like Facebook and that because, you know, people think, not you're right, blimey, there's something that Mastermind Dave doesn't know about. Setting up a web page. I'm sure we'll find something and sort something out. It'd be nice to have our own web page, which would be very interactive for everyone to join in as well. And if you go to gigs, pop it up on there. There's one or two things I'd like to try eventually. Depends if you guys are up for it. Do a Zoom and have a topic like most of the channels do. Things to look forward to do in the second year of our existence. I mean, these live streams, I started doing them last year, but they fell flat on their noses. So I just started doing them again. I did it more for the weekly updates because it was a lot easier than recording, and because at the time I was on still on old-fashioned. Okay, we'll discuss that. Anyway, going back to the live streams, and I thought it was easy just to do this, and then all of a sudden people start watching. I mean, it's great. Well, I don't think I'll be on a ban. I'll see if we can come up with some subjects, something that that we don't have to do lots of research on, and to get album covers out, because I haven't got no album covers. I've only got a few bits these days because a lot of it's stored away for safekeep. But yeah, we'll do something like that and see what happens. Yeah, we'll have to work out how it's done. I might drop her an email to a certain person and get some advice. Someone that we don't mention. Bit of the fire starter. Yeah. I don't know if I'll do a full ranking, but I might do a top 10. Got one or two bits that I do like. There's an instrumental that I love by the Prodigy. I can't remember what it's called now. It's been used on themes of things. Oh, there is one band that I will not touch. So don't ask. Coldplay. All Coldplay's good for. If they run out of anaesthetic at a hospital, put one of their albums on. That'll send anyone to sleep. It's one of the bands that I just cannot stand. I don't know what the hype is about. That's a good thing for a Zoom. Bands we don't like and why. Hey, I'm glad you agree with me, Charles. Yeah, well, if we do a Zoom, we'll sort it out. We'll do that. We'll do it. We'll have a fun one. Bands that really get on our wick. For you, Mick, that means get on our nerves, that we just can't. Bands we can't stand, and they get hyped up. Radio, yeah, that's another band that really I don't get. Now, this is going to be shocking. I mean, what happened to Taylor Hawkins is absolutely tragic. It's so sad when we lose musicians so young. But the Foo Fighters as a band, that's not my cup of tea. I really don't know why people like them. I just can't get into them. I've tried, trust me. But I just can't get into the Foo Fighters. What's the fascination with the band? I didn't like Nirvana either. But then I don't really like grunge. Can you define whingering? Wickering. Get on your wick. I'm a bit lost now. Help. I just couldn't get into Nirvana. Again, I think it got overkill. Overkill. See, the biggest band I thought that had the biggest overkill was Guns N' Roses. They made one damn good album, and the rest is just for the garbage can, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I think that's the only the song I like. Did I? I can't remember. Blimey. REM. Yes, I like REM, Charles. Yeah, I do like REM. They're a good band. I prefer them to U2, actually. Yeah, well, I think we'll do a thing where we can whinge about bands we hate. You see, there's some of my favourite bands. There's certain songs by them I can't abide either. I mean, we all know the songs by Status Quo I can't abide. No, they don't, Charles. Thin Lizzy are great. One of the all-time greats. I mean, I liked U2. Probably at the last U2 album I brought would have been Achtung Baby. I'll tell you what, when I went off them, is when Bono thought he got so far up his own backside, and he thought he was some sort of god. I mean, he always had a bit of an ego, but I mean, it's like the album. You'll find that out tomorrow on the U2 live show album I'm doing about what I think of Bono sometimes. This is a shame because the band themselves, they are solid. They've always played great music, even the modern day live albums. But it's that old joke, isn't there? You know, the lights fail at a concert, so they just got Bono to bend over and drop his kegs. Yeah, I've not really listened to much of the later U2 stuff. Yeah. You're absolutely right, Dave. Yeah, I've not listened to much of the later U2. I did it when I did Then and Now, and I was not overly impressed. It's like I was listening to a one of Eric's albums today, and I'm not overly impressed with that because it features something that I hate: the drum machine. Don't need a drum machine in rock bands. You got drummers. Don't need that tinny noise. But there you go, drum machines. So am I the only person though that hates rock music, 80s production on rock music? I'm sorry, it's one of my bugbears. Even my favourite bands have put some naff out in the 80s. ZZ Top, cool, they put some shockers out in the 80s. And they use drum machines and drum techno stuff. Yeah, today if you did Queensryche, and they put out they did an album full of covers, and some of the covers on that are atrocious. Hello, what are you doing? I think look, say hello to everybody. You just want to nose and see what's going on, do you? Stereo, yeah, awful. I think even Slade used it on Run, Run Away, and it was atrocious. There's certain sorts of music that drum machines work. Yeah, Mick saying hello to you. You're a part of this channel as much as me, you are, aren't you? Yeah? Yes. I think anyone that runs a YouTube channel that have got dogs, they're always part of it. I mean, Pete's dogs keep coming in and out, wanting to play. It was when I first started. At the time, I'd got Marley, God bless her. And I'm sure if you watch any of the early ones, you'll see her popping up and jumping up and wanting to get involved as well. Yeah, you miss your friend, don't you? Hey? Beijing. Rocky. There's certain things when I put on and he disappears. Rocky doesn't like Motorhead. I put Motorhead on and he's off. You see, I mentioned Motorhead and he wants to get down. Yeah, Rocky, he doesn't mind any, but there's certain if there's any funny screeching. Oh. What makes me laugh if I'm playing any Pink Floyd that have got like off medal, Seamus, that's the dog. When that starts barking, he barks. On Animals, he starts making funny noises. And the one that really gets him is Let Them In, Wings. Because you got ding, dong, ding. He goes absolutely mental. It's like I've got a Ring doorbell. And if the advert's on telly and that goes off, he's off. When I used to have Marley, the pair of them used to go nuts when that advert come on. Does he like echoes? Oh, when I put that on, high pitches, he sometimes goes, and his ears go up like this. I'm sure dogs understand. I don't know if they listen to music. I know he likes Enya. When I put that on a Sunday or when I'm doing housework. Oh, that motorway. Oh, that motorway. During the Six Nations, ITV used to be sponsored by Motorway, and it used to really get on me and Dave's nerves. Adele, oh God. Oh, I can't stand her. Absolutely. I've never met a miserable songwriter in all my born days. I kept people saying she's writing miserable songs, so I'm like a sad git. Went through some of her lyrics of some of her songs, and did I find anything happy? No. She seems to crave on gloom and doom. I know metal, some of the metal bands do, but at least they've got the tunes good. Hers are just dull. She's in the same category as Coldplay. Oh, she thinks she's hard done by, doesn't she? Oh, I'll make another album. Write down the lyrics. Echo and the Bunnymen. Yes. I'll add that one because I haven't forgotten. Let's write that one down. Yeah, the other one I've decided to do, we did the retro not so long ago, and I think that the Smiths deserve a full album ranking. Because I've been sort of sneaking listening to some of their stuff on Spotify. And I've decided I think they are going to get a full ranking because they are such an influential band from the 80s. You see, as an example, Morrissey, he wrote a lot of sad stuff, but the tunes were good. And that's the difference between him and Dal. He writes some sad stuff, but the tunes are a little bit more uplifting. Even Heavens Know I'm Miserable Now's got a nice tune to it. Stray Cats, yeah, got a retro ranking on them. I think that's going to be the first retro ranking of May. And another band. Now, I was going through YouTube the other night, and there's a classical band that I really like, very similar to Two Cellos, but they write their own stuff, and that's the girl band Bond. Terrific. Add a little bit of culture because you can talk about them because it's quite rocky in places. The Smiths, yeah. Could feature it on a one-off album if it's. I'm sure I'll fit it in somewhere, Charles. Might even put it as an honourable mention, like I will do with David Coverdale on Monday. I thought, yeah, I know, we know why you like Bond. Someone else, or one of our friends, liked them for one good reason. Yeah, but they are a good band. Yeah, there was a concert that was on YouTube, so I sat and watched it the other night, and it was absolutely superb. I thought, right, you're going to get a ranking. I might do an actually top 10 of some of my favourite classical pieces of music. Because I do like classical music, believe it or not. But then every good rock star likes, or rock person likes, classical music. Rick Wakeman, John Lord, Ritchie Blackmore, all come to mind. I'm going to do another of my favourite guitar players, Mr. Michael Schenker. He's in the book at the moment as well. There's so much. I thought I'd be struggling to find things to do, but there isn't. There's so much out there for us to do, and you guys are really good coming up with ideas as well. I haven't, to be quite honest, Charles. I've not heard any of his solo stuff. I will go and I'll give it a listen and see what's what on that. You see, when you do like a band, and then you do, I do like doing the offshoots of a band as well. Look at solo bits, but I'll definitely save some of that for. Depends how well this Battle of the Debutantes go. I'm not going to say what the first one is. I know exactly what the first one is. I was actually working on the intro today. So, yeah, I was thinking about that one, Charles, about Paul Weller. I like some of his stuff that he did, some of his solo stuff, and there's a couple of bits of the Style Council I like. I've always thought that Paul Weller is he's just one of them iconic musicians this country has produced. Even if you're not keen on his stuff, you've got to admit that he's a great musician. I mean, I love the jam stuff. I've listened to listened to their first two albums, which I don't know too much about, and they're absolutely brilliant. I love listening to them, and I'm thinking bluegrass, bit of bluegrass. Yeah, we could touch a bit of bluegrass, but talking of bluegrass, there is a bluegrass band. It's on YouTube that do a version of AC/DC's Thunderstruck, and it's absolutely brilliant. But the funniest version of a rock song I've ever heard is Joe Brown's ukulele album, and there's a version of the Ace of Spades on there, and it's absolutely fantastic. Yeah, going to do some skiffle. I'm going to do a Lonnie Donegan retro ranking because I like Lonnie Donegan. Bit of Does Your Chewing Gum Lose Its Flavour on the Bedpost Overnight? Battle of New Orleans, Rock Island Line. They're all great little tunes, so we'll do some of that. We've sort of touched on country, haven't we, with the Eagles and Bread. Going to do a few more 60s bands, I think, as well. Give them a bit of love. Thinking of doing a full PJ Proby. Yeah. Now, everyone's heard the story of PJ Proby splitting his trousers. And I can tell you exactly where he done it. He did it at the ABC in Northampton. And how do I know? Because my mum, God rest her, saw it. She was there and saw PJ Proby go down, up the split his difference. Yes, like she saw the Beatles there. Hello, Rocky's wrecking the joint. Or has he got out? And he's gone. He's left me. In a minute, what's the guarantee in a minute he's going to bark? Shall we take bets? Is Rocky going to bark to go for a wee? Yeah, but I haven't heard much of PJ Pro. 5 minutes max. Yeah, I think you're about right. I might have to get up in a minute. Nothing stops a Rocky's wee. Does he want a wee? No, he's just... I know what he wants. He wants another TRTET, and guess what? He's not having it. He's had all his... He's only allowed so much a day, and he's had his quota. Yeah, I don't think he wants that because he's nowhere near the front door. He's just sort of hovering where in the lounge door. Oi! Less of it. Yes, I can see you. You're not having anything else? No. Look, he's always got a day. He's ever so funny. No, he's coming back now. Here he comes. Can you see him? Well, look at his eyes. He's a bit scary. Yes. Yeah, I'm going to do. Yeah, I think they saw that. My dad saw the Rolling Stones in Northampton because there's clips of that on YouTube. He's got the devil's eye. He's got the devil in him, and about the devil's eyes. Yeah, so I'm doing Pink Floyd this week. I'm still debating if I should do a full album ranking of Pink Floyd. I think I've done a couple of their albums in classic albums, but I haven't done them. I try not to. No, I'm not going to bet on the Grand National. It depends if there's because I've been watching the ladies' Six Nations as well, so it's been great since February. I've been watching rugby most Saturday afternoons on the TV. And if you haven't watched any ladies' rugby and you're a rugby fan, watch it because the game last week between Scotland and Wales was terrific. Yeah, I finally watched the boat race because Dave was watching the thing and he was saying that there was well, it was a canter, wasn't it? Really. But we don't mention the other sport I like, the one with the little ball. Always F1 weekend, another good weekend of sport. But I'll be watching England play Wales tomorrow. I think Ireland have got the French. Masters as well. Good grief. Lots to watch. I think Sunday I'll be flicking like this. But I've been really good this week. As I also said today, I'm actually been working on next week's shows already. And I normally don't start them till Saturday or Sunday. But all the scripts are done for next week. All I've got to do is just sort of listen to some of the tunes again just to get myself reacquainted, because some of the ones we're doing next week I haven't listened to for a little while. What are we doing for time? 1 hour and 15. At least I've not cropped out this week. How I got through last week, I don't know. Because after I finished last week, I just switched everything off, had a hot toddy, and went to bed. I was absolutely last week. But this week, I thought it was, no, it's England Wales this weekend, because they've sold out 11,000 at Kingsholm. Sell out. Yeah, so any other suggestions for shows? Keep them coming. I haven't read any good books lately. I've been sort of doing more history, my reading at the moment. Well, listening. I'm listening to Stephen and Simon. I love Stephen and Simon. I think Simon Bray's brilliant. He sits there with his beer. If it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me. When I've been a bit more established and I feel a bit more confident, and because believe it or not, I am quite shy, and I'd love to do something with them guys because they absolutely crack me up. They are absolutely diamonds. They don't pull any punches. If something's rubbish, it's rubbish. Yeah, something that I will do one day, I suppose. I'll put the feelers out. But, I'm still very young and at all this. They've been doing it for years. I'm just coming up for a year of doing all this. Yeah, I was right. You were wrong. Yeah, so at the moment, I'm listening to Operation Mincemeat because the new film comes out. Love all that stuff. Love me history. If you haven't watched Symphony X album covers, there's one of the covers that I was talking about. I love ancient civilization, Greece and Egypt and the Romans. But I am so looking forward to next week's. The Stinkers. Oh, good grief, yeah. Got on the train in Brussels, sober as a judge. Got off at Waterloo, because it was in Waterloo in them days. Absolutely skunky drunk. Yes, that was interesting. Oh, yes. Yes, that was a good. Trouble is, every time me and Dave go to Brussels, we get rather drunk. Yeah, we love going to Brussels. But oh yes, I remember that. Yeah, I am going to try. I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I would love to do a proper meet and greet somewhere and meet people. Because, you know, this is going to be quite good fun. Okay, there's 6 of us here. 6 of you here, but there's only 2 people actually talking. Who else is here? Say hello. It's nice to know who's watching me rabbit on about nothing. God, my phone's having a right epi. Does that sometimes? It'll sit there all night and then all of a sudden it'll go ping pong boom. Oh, there's quite a lot actually. Too many to mention. I keep going. There's some of the stuff that I'll keep going back to Pete tonight, but he is sort of a bit of a legend. There's some of the bands you go, because obviously I subscribe to the Sea of Tranquility. And you know, who the hell are they? Well, there's a whole list that he's come up. I mean, there's things like Pat Travis. He always goes over as Pat Travis or something. He thinks of brilliant stuff, and I've never heard any of it. So I've got to give that a listen. Styx, I haven't. I only know Styx by one song, and I don't like it. But apparently the other stuff's really good. So I don't just listen. I haven't listened to something like Styx. I haven't heard much of. Thunder. God. There was a show on Thunder on the channel. I'll send you a link, Charles. I'll go into the news where we did when I found you the Clash. I'll send you the link so you can watch it, Charles. Men at Work, yeah. Midnight Oil is another band I want to listen to. Molly Hatchet, yeah. I've heard 1 or 2 of their songs. See, I've heard like greatest hits of these, but I've never really listened to the albums. Yeah, so yeah, and I haven't heard. Blimey, don't have to do it. Mastermind Dave hasn't come up though. See, I haven't heard much, and this will annoy Dave a little bit. I've only got an anthology of Lynyrd Skynyrd, which I adore. Yeah, I'm going to have to look at some of this southern rock stuff from America. I've not, it seems to be just sort of localized, and they do. But I know there's some really good bands, what they call the southern rock. God, my phone's going into hyperdrive. He'll probably, next to anything, he'll go, "You're dead." No, so yeah, I've heard. Well, I haven't heard. I've actually watched some of it on YouTube. That's it. That I watched a program on the 14 studio albums. That's quite a lot. Because it's sort of 2 bands, really, isn't it? I mean, what happened to them is so sad. So sad. There's a book that I've read called "I Blew Up Pink Floyd's Pig." It's a guy that worked for a radio station in Seattle. And there was a movie about the plane crash, and they sort of went to it, and there's surviving members. Absolutely heartbroken. It's quite sad to read the stories. Yeah, I like the live stuff, Mick. What I've seen on YouTube is brilliant. Um, but I was having this conversation with Dave this afternoon about live music. The live versions of some songs are the definitive versions of those songs. Um, that's why I started doing a live album ranking, because there's not many channels here that actually really focus much on the live stuff of bands. And I thought, no, I'm going to do it. I know they've had like war, the battles against two live albums, but live music is what it's really all about. And that's why I do the live album rankings, because no one else seems to. And I might do how many Skynyrd live albums I do. I might do that first. Yeah, and then with the one we also talked about today was Peter Frampton, Show Me the Way. It's much better live. Always has been. Is that what you think of that song, Rocky? He's just sitting down. He's not up. He's just slumped down. He's just barking. I think he's just saying, I'm still here. Life 13, blimey. That's quite a lot. Yeah, I'm going to do a real obscure one. I've done the Mike and the Mechanics. They're ready to go. I'm going to look at Tony Banks' stuff, Charles. I've never heard much of his solo stuff. The only song I've really heard is the one he did with Fish. That single. And I've heard a couple of bits on programs, and it's a bit weird. Authorized bootlegs, yeah. Been listening to a few. The official bootleg. It's like Asia, the official bootleg. It's got some great tracks on it, but some of the recordings looks like they've been recorded on on that. Stuck that in the front of the crowd and gone and played. Yes, not very good. I've got some real poor recordings of bands. These official albums, and you listen to them and go, where the hell did I record this? I've got a couple of I think the biggest disappointment was on a. Is he at the door? No, he's not at the door. He's just sitting on the mat, staring into space. Yeah, this Quo album, all live versions from 1975. Yeah, obviously recorded in the toilet next to the stage. It's terrible. Absolutely. I brought this deluxe version of, I can't remember which one it was now, and I was very disappointed that I got really bad recordings live. I believe I've got better bootlegs of Quo live than the official one. There's one that they did if somewhere in France, Stand the Heat. The quality is much better, and that's a proper bootleg. Rocky wants music. I'll put him some Enya on. Wait! It's nowhere near the door. Yeah, and sometimes he'll do it at night, even when I'm watching telly. He'll go out into the little hallway I've got. He'll sit on the mat and just bark every 2 seconds. I sometimes think because he can see the lights from the main road, because we live at where we are, we're in a little court, but the main road is up towards the top, so we can see the lights coming down. My favourite compilation Quo album. Whoa. It's got to be from the makers of. Because I've got it in the tin can. Oh, love that. It's got a great version of Gert and Dula on it. I've got 12 gold bars as well. I think that's the only. And the other one I've got is a Rockers Rolling or something it's called. It's like an addendum thing. It's a box set. And it's got a great version of Bruce Springsteen's Cadillac Ranch on it. Yeah, basically, Alan, going back to Alan's, yeah, you get the live at the NEC part of that. That was the first live recordings you got from that show. Now, I was talking to Lee and Gary, who went to see John Coughlin's Quo, and we've said that the only thing that Quo really need to put out now, from the old sort of thing, is a proper version, a Blu-ray and DVD, CD of the End of the Road show at Milton Keynes Bowl. Because the version that I've got on my pod is actually what I recorded off my 2 videos. So I would love that to happen, that someone actually puts out the End of the Road, because I was there at Milton Keynes that day, 21st of July 1984, and I know exactly where I'm standing. I can sort of point out where I am on the screen, and about there. But it would be fab to get that End of the Road on Blu-ray. I don't know why I haven't done it. And then get a proper recording. I mean, they restore everything else, so why can't they do it to that? It'd be just fabulous. Because that's got one of the best versions of Roll Over Lay Down on it. And the 4,500 times in that is brilliant. Remember that. Highlight of the evening, that was 4,500 times. I love that song. I think I haven't seen Quo for a long time. I just found it, as much as I love Quo, I got fed up of going to Quo concerts and seeing people, especially the ladies, with baubles in their hairs at Christmas, and they only jumped up and down for about 3 songs. You know, and Big Fat Mama, Don't Waste My Time, Hold Your Back, Come On. And one show they did 4,500 times. They just sat there like gormless, you know. I hate that when they... Dio, yeah, I am going to do Ronnie James Small Person. I love Dio. Seen him a couple of times. Fantastic. I actually got to see Dio and Alice Cooper on the same show. And that's another person I'm going to do, Alice Cooper. But I'm going to do it in 2 parts. I'm going to do Alice Cooper the band and Alice Cooper the solo artist. Tiny Tim. I've never heard any Tiny Tim. He just looks a bit geeky to me. Yeah, I'll do Dio, Alan. I will do that with pleasure, because that'll be... Yeah, I love the sleeve for Last in Line. Oh, that's it. Oh. That one will be easy for me to do, Alan, because I could sit down. I could actually sit down and write the order they come in now. That's how good them albums are. I can whip that one together very quickly. So that will come up. That one can come up sometime, probably in May. Might do the Elf ones as well. So I like Elf. Have you read his book, Alan? The one that he started that Mick Moore and Wendy Dio finished. Now, there's something, if you watch, I think it'll be on the David Coverdale next week. There is Ronnie James Dio appears on one of his albums, one of his solo albums, and Wendy Dio. Bit of a thing. Yeah, Dio, definitely Dio. I love Ronnie James Dio anyway. Whatever album he's appeared on, he always gives a 100% performance. I mean, he revitalized Black Sabbath without a doubt. I like the Power Slave stage show. That was awesome. Was it Leicester de Montfort or something like that? But the best stage, there's two stage shows of Maiden that are fantastic. Somewhere in Time, that stage show was fantastic. And the Seventh Son stage show. And to be quite honest, that was the last time I saw Maiden. I haven't seen them since Seventh Son. The trouble is with concerts these days, I'm not paying out that sort of money to go and see bands. I don't justify that sort of money now. That's a ridiculous price. My favourite rock singers. Oh, yeah, I'll try that one, Charles. Yeah, go my favourite rock singers. Ooh. I know what I'll do. I'll do my favourite. I'll do it as a retro because in a retro ranking, I'll do my favourite rock singers and the best song they sang. How's about that? Halford Dio. The band Halford. Rob Halford's band. Talking of Rob Halford, I did see a clip on YouTube of Judas Priest and Glenn Tipton come out and he did Metal Gods and Living After Midnight. That's one of the loudest concerts I ever went to, Judas Priest. Saw them on the Painkiller tour. And I saw them at the Aston Villa Leisure Centre, which is, I'd say, only held about 3,000 people. And I couldn't hear for days. I'm in Painkiller that night. Oh, God. Great gig, though. I love Judas Priest. One of the best shows I ever went to. But the loudest concert I saw was Kiss. Oh, blew my ears off, that did. That's a band that I haven't done an album ranking on. I've done a then and now on them, but I've never done an album ranking. So I think everybody's done Kiss. I haven't done a lot of thrash metal, though, because I wasn't really into thrash metal. I think as I've got older that I've really appreciated it. And obviously next week we're doing Megadeath because one of you guys asked for it. I mean, I've got an anthology of Megadeth and then one or two tracks. Now I'm going to say something really controversial here. Metallica, Megadeth. I think Megadeth are a bit better. I think they're more musical than Metallica. I don't know how many people agree with me there. See, I've never really listened to Anthrax or Slayer or Testament or anything like that. I'm really, and Venom. And does it doom metal, death metal, whatever you want to call it? To me, it's just a wall of noise. At least for Megadeath and Metallica, there's a little bit more melodic to it. But unless anyone says, "Oh, will you do Anthrax or anything like that?" I won't touch them. And to be quite honest, I wouldn't have done Overkill. I've never heard them stuff. I really haven't, and I'll be honest. It's funny about you saying about Alan. I like Halloween. I love them because that's melodic. I think Kai Hansen's a great guitar player. I've done it then and now, and I've done their live albums. I think it's about time we did some Halloween, I think, chaps. It'll be very easy which is my favourite, though. I know a lot of you have been watching now. Do you really, when you go through the videos, do you go, okay, I know what his number one is? Because Mick put about a Satanic Majesties being my bottom because of the sitar. Blue Oyster Cult, yeah. I can't remember when I saw them. It must have been about 80. Would it have been 80 something? I think it's one of their 80s albums come out. We went to see them in Birmingham at the Birmingham Odeon, and they were great because obviously the stuff off their new album was a bit thick. I think it was something about Club Ninja, so whatever they did, the Ninja album, I think it was. But hearing Godzilla and sort of tracks, great live band. Yeah, it must have been sort of the same sort of time. They were great, absolutely great. And another band that I saw about that time was Barclay James Harvest. And that's another band I want to do. It's on my list, but there's so many great bands out there. Yeah, Club Ninja is the worst album. Was that the tour, Mick? I can't remember. It was that tour. They went through that horrible stage, didn't they? Playing absolute naff. And then they started doing good stuff again. I was listening to one of their albums today. I'll tell you which one it was. Heaven Forbid I was listening to today. And I thought that was, after them really weak albums, it was the best album that sounded more like Blue Oyster Cult instead of that synthy gunge that I just detest. What was a bit about producers? Everything had to have that horrible sound. And I don't know if you've noticed that there's one producer that I really gets up my goat, and that's Mutt Lange. Mutt Lange can ruin any good band with his production. Oh. I mean, when I was Bryan Adams, he tried to try the sound of Bryan Adams. Oh, And Bryan Adams keeps going back to him. That's what annoys me. He made one great album with Jeff Lynne and ditched him. Went back to Mutt Lange. Oh, let's take 20 years to record one song. I think he sort of ruined Def Leppard's sound. I got a bit of a spanking by someone about having a slagging off Hysteria, saying it's the best album they've done since Sliced Bread. No, it wasn't. It was good at the time. You listen to it now and you go, oh, this is awful. It's just too clean. Absolutely clean. Oh, I don't know. I mean, Mutt Lange would probably try and clean up Metallica. I mean, he had a go with AC/DC, but they soon ditched him. I mean, okay, Black in Black was brilliant. But for those about to rock, oh, some great songs on there. And I know they're great songs because I've heard them live. And they're much better live. It's like Def Leppard stuff off Hysteria is much better live. Except Pour Some Sugar on Me, which is a song that I just don't like. So Mutt Lange, go away. We don't want your polished metal. Dire Straits, yeah, I know, they've sort of been on my radar to do, and Mark Knopfler. There's one album Mark Knopfler did with Chet Atkins, and I know I've loved that album because my dad has got it. And you got these two great picking guitarists playing on this album. It's a fantastic album. So yeah, Dire Straits, yeah, they've got to come up soon. I think once I've got through this batch on this, we'll start adding them. But what's put me on behind it, not behind because I don't mind it, is when people all of a sudden it was all these bands coming in. Alchemy Live is brilliant. Yeah, it's the best version of Private Investigations ever. It's one of my favourite songs by Dire Straits. I prefer it to some of the later stuff. I mean, here's one that'll shock you. I don't like The Walk of Life. I just hate that cheesy keyboard in it. Sultans of Swing. I mean, I love that first album from Dire Straits. Can't remember the track that I like. Knife. Dave, go and look up the first Dire Straits album. There's a song that's got Knife in it. Tunnel of Love is great. Yeah, I can't remember. It's something to do with a knife. 6-blade knife or something. It's one of my favourite tracks. It's got a great bass line. And I've got a live version of it as well on one of the live albums. I might do that in a couple of weeks. Do the Dire Straits live, so we get some Dire Straits on the channel. Then we can do a full album ranking at some stage. Because live album rankings, I can do them quite quick. Because it's just a quick listen to the albums. And then I can really judge them. Live albums, they're so easy. 6-blade knife, that's it. It's got that bum, 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 bum. No, I'm not going to start because Charles will tell me to stop singing. Yeah. We'll do Dire Straits live in May. How's about that? That'll keep all the fans happy. It looks like you all like a bit of Dire Straits. So we'll do the live albums. I think it's pretty obvious what will be number one, though. Yeah, I'd love some of the guitar work on them albums. I like Brothers in Arms, but I wouldn't say it's my favourite. I mean, I like Money for Nothing. I love that. And Brothers in Arms, it's a great track. I love the guitar solo on that. But I think Making Movies, yeah, Romeo Juliet, brilliant track. Love Over Gold's a great album as well. In fact, they're all good. As I said, you know, it's one of them bands that, you know, they didn't put a bad album out at all. I mean, I'm not a fan of Twisting by the Pool, I must admit. It's cheesy. But I like one of the songs on that EP, the one about who's got any t-shirts thing. Because one of the lines is my mate likes AC/DC, all something greasy. But if you go up to, talking of Dire Straits, if you go up to where he was brought up, there's a fun fair and there's some steps, and it's got the lyrics of Tunnel for Love, because it's based on a ride that he used to go on with a certain lady, I think, or young girl when he was younger. So he's got the lyrics on the steps. And I watched that on Sky Arts. They had a Brian Johnson went around talking with stars, and he was with Martin Knopfler, and it was a great show because they all went, both being from the Northeast. They had a way over time. Oh, he's not even near the. Hang on, no. Be back in 2. Right, I sorted these nibs out. Oh, blimey, we've nearly been going for 2 hours. Well said, Mr. Keogh. It's absolutely right. Then you get shot down in flames because you haven't put certain person. These are the people that don't subscribe, and just come in and go woo and do that. They make me laugh now. Used to get on my wick a little bit, but now I find them quite funny. Not heard from that lad last week about Queen. He hasn't put anything. No one responds to what I put. I think I just don't like it. So it's Dire Straits live. I'll add that because I'll forget. Here we go. Dire Straits live. I don't mind listening to that because I haven't listened to some of their live albums for a little while, so that'll be good. I might have to put a couple of honourable mentions in there because I've got a couple of unofficial albums that are pretty cool. More of their early stuff, you know, stuff off the first 2 albums, so they're pretty good. I haven't heard too much of Knopfler's solo stuff, to be honest. Yeah, I want to do The Police as well. That's in my little book. Here's the little book. It is a little book. It's just full of bands' names. If anyone robbed me, coming here to rob me and go through this book. So yeah, Police is on the list. I like some of Sting's solo stuff as well. Yes, I think the Police will be a good one to do. As you said, it's 5 albums. So some of these bands we talk about have only got a short catalogue. It's easy. So I can listen to a band like Police in a week. Listen to an album every day. So yeah, the Police will probably get done very shortly as well, because it's a short and sweet one. Oh, what are you grumbling at now? Come here then. You can get through there. Get a bus through there. Come on then. Oh, you stay there then. I think I'll be going soon because poor old Rocky's not had a proper time with his dad. He gets very upset. Well, yeah. No live albums from the Police. Now that's interesting. Yeah, before anyone says anything about we've been doing Paul McCartney's, I haven't forgotten about Wings Live in America. Because I will be doing it on a classic album review. I couldn't leave out Wings without doing that. And I won't be doing any singles of Paul McCartney because that are not on albums, because the 2 I know of are not very good. One being Spies Like Us. How many hours a day do I listen to music? I start listening to music. I suppose I listen to about 3 or 4 hours a day. I only put the TV on at night, and then I'm watching something on Netflix or one of the series that I'm recording. Given the choice between TV and music, what would I miss most? My music. I just love music, always have. I get up in the morning and I'm listening to music. Normally the radio, Planet Rock. But when all the neighbours have disappeared, turning up the music for this, to do this. I think the only time I'm not listening to music is when I'm recording the shows. And I listen to a lot of music. Saturday morning, housework, music's on all through. Usually play it through Spotify because I've got me little Her That Can't Be Mentioned. Got work, so it's all around the house listening to the same thing. Yes, we all stand to get the frog song. I don't like it either. I really hate it. Cheesy. Yeah, I listen to my audiobooks at bedtime. Listen to an audiobook or a comedy show. Sort of alternate. At the moment, it's Operation Mincemeat. I listen to some podcasts. I love listening to Martin Popoff's History in 5 Songs. That is great. I'm a big fan of Martin Popoff. Even before I didn't know what he looked like, and then I saw him on, obviously, Sea of Tranquility. But I have been a big fan of Martin Popoff for many, many years. Read lots of his stuff and his books. Yes, I've got one of it. I've listened to his Victorian England and his Edwardian England. They are brilliant. Yeah, my favourite books of Martin Popoff, of the three that he did on Rush, they're absolutely brilliant. There's one book on the 70s, the 80s, and the detail he goes into of the albums and how they were recorded, and they are just fantastic. I've got his book about Deep Purple. It's not a book as a reading book. It's got the offshoots and posters of all the bands that supported them. They're great reads. I want to get a few more. Obviously, I've got on his page, and I contacted. Yeah, I wonder why he hasn't done one on Queen. But yeah, because I'm doing a project. It's another project I'm doing. I brought Martin's books, and I wanted to quote some of the stuff out of his books. So I sent him a really nice email, and he sent me one back, a really nice one back, and I thought that was nice. He just says, "Yeah, lovely, go for it." So it's nice that, I've asked his permission, and he was quite happy for me to quote his books, which is pretty good. You listen to 3 or 4 hours. You're about the same as me then, Mick. Music is one of the most important things in life. Oh yeah, I have. It's very good. Got a few Mick Wall books. He did one on Marillion, which was excellent. And Mick Wall helps Wendy Dio finish off Ronnie James Dio's book. Alan, if you didn't know that, that is a brilliant read. The one on Ronnie James Dio. Again, I think Led Zeppelin's one of them bands. The album's ranked, but I've not done the show. Yeah, hang on a minute. I'll tell you what it's called. Bear with me 2 seconds. Let's have a look. It's just called Rainbow in the Dark, the autobiography. Ronnie James Dio's is. It's really good. It's credited to Ronnie James Dio, Mick Wall, and Wendy Dio. Yeah, I've got that one on Francis and Rick. Face to Face, it was called. That's a very, very good book. Have you read Francis's latest one, Alan? I Talk Too Much. Yeah, I agree with you, Charles, about that as well. 70s was when Queen were at the thing. It's like that poor lad last week on the Queen. Although at the start of that show, I did say, depends when you became a Queen fan, is how you really like them. I love the 70s Queen more than anything. But I think my favourite bit from last week, that was when he was on about the sound bites of Flash. But if you don't mind, don't know if it's on audio. Audio. If you've got an audio account, the audio book. It's not read by Francis, but it's pretty good. Yeah. I think the funniest one I've got reading it is the guy that reads Ozzy's. He tries to sound like Ozzy. It's great. I've got Tony Iommi's. That's read by Bev Bevan from ELO. Flash. It is a good song. And I think it's a great soundtrack. At least it's melodic and it's got some tunes on it. It's just not a load of noises. I've heard some soundtracks. Talking of soundtracks, I was listening to an Eric Clapton one this week, Rush. Nah, it's not that brilliant. I've got books I've got. I did have lots of books, but over the years they've, but I've managed to get most of them on audio now. I've got all the Ian Fleming Bond books audio. Now, one of my favorite, I like detective books, and one of my favorite characters was created by Dorothy L. Sayers, Lord Peter Wimsey. And I've got all the audio books that Ian Carmichael reads, who played him on TV and he did the radio dramas. I'm a bit of a Lord Peter Wimsey fanatic. I've got all the audio books now. I've got all the radio dramas he done. And I've got the DVD BBC ones with Ian Carmichael. And I got the ones that I can't remember his name, but I got that the DVD, and I had to buy. This is how sad I was. I had to buy a Regional One DVD player to play it. The DVD player cost me more than the DVD, but I'm glad I've done it. And I like Agatha Christie as well. I love Poirot and Miss Marple. Got a lot of radio dramas of them, more than the books. I've got some Morse as well. I've got all the Father Brown audiobooks of Father Brown. But I'd say one of my favourite characters are Sherlock Holmes, Poirot, and Lord Peter Wimsey. But I've not got any audio on them, but I have got a DVD. And it was Dave that actually brought it for my birthday once. Jeeves and Wooster. I love Jeeves and Wooster. Okay, guys, do you know we have been chops in and texting and everything else now for 2 hours. Now, I'll go, if everyone's all right, I'll go on for a little while, but even I need to finish soon. Okay, I've got that much beer left. Once it's gone, I shall go off. I think that might be a good topic to do a Zoom on. Favourite books. Because it's easier to talk about books and I can't do a ranking of books. It'd be interesting, wouldn't it? I do like history books, especially World War II books. I've got the Colditz book written by Pat Reed. I've got one on The Great Escape, the real Great Escape. Operation Mincemeat. It's about the Bismarck. Got one on Dunkirk to read. Yeah, I think I agree. I think I've nearly finished this beer, and I think it's time to go to shut eye. We're all a bit history buffies here, aren't we? We like our history. I've seen the movie, but I've never read the book. I've read the book about the Dam Busters. Was it called Over the Enemy Coast? That's pretty good. I shall have to check that one out. Is it on Audible, Dave? I don't have time to sit down and read a book now. I really don't. Because it's very hard to listen to music that you're going to be ranking and reading a book at the same time. Right, I'll finish my beer. I've been to the Transport Museum in Glasgow. That's the only one I've been to. If I could actually buy a book, God, if I find time to read it. Right, folks, I am going to wrap this one up because this is the longest one we've done. As ever, it is great chatting to you chaps. Got to tell your friends. So I'll be back in next Thursday. I'll be back on the channel tomorrow. We've got U2 live albums and a good show then for the one-off album. It is called No Rewind by the Orchestra, which is the remaining members of ELO Part 2 after Bevan left. So you've got Kelly Grouchka, Mick Kaminsky, and Lewis Clark. So it's basically the band of ELO Part 2 without Bev. So everyone have a good night. Keep watching. Tell your friends. And go and buy a t-shirt. I will see you all soon. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.